Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn a little bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one of getting all the insight. Now perhaps if you really like our contents, you may want to click that super chat and give us a little bit of donation and sponsorship, and this money will actually go through to all our stuff, the back end, and getting all these quarter videos for you. Now, okay, today is exciting, 2nd of September 2022. Why is it exciting? Because I think most of the people are probably already seen news that the Job and Skills Summit will end today with the good news. Of course, for migration, as I had predicted, the only thing I did not predict it correctly was that the actual increase of the annual intake quota to be 195,000, not 200,000. Well, anyway, it's 5,000 short. I'm not too sure why it's 5,000 short there. I mean, it really doesn't make any difference. I think because it's already September, we're not back in July, so that's probably why. So the 5,000 is just to cut off for those 2 months. Anyway, let's check out the actual news. So what we're going to do with today's video is we go through some of the news, and there is a specific news came out yesterday. I wanted to mention that to you guys as well, and also go through the transcript that the Minister of Home Affairs, Claire O'Neil, had actually gone through with the media releases. So let's go through with some summary. This is coming from ABC News. So obviously it's a big news for Australia and for the migrants as well. So Australia lift permanent immigration by 35,000 to 195,000. So why not 200,000? Well, I think because it's September already. So 2 months was already gone by for the financial year of 2022 and 23. So that's the only thing that I did not predict it 100%. But anyway, we have aimed it pretty right. So let's continue to go on. So Canberra, Australia. So Australian government announced on Friday it will increase the permanent immigration intake by 35,000 to 195,000, which is very, very good. The Job and Skills Summit actually invited more than 140 representatives of the government and the stakeholder around the nationwide, and everybody has a consensus to actually agree on the actual increase of the annual intake. Now, there's a lot of article here, which I think I've actually gone through them for the past 2 months since the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese won the elections, and most of them I predicted correctly. Here, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced on Thursday, the 1st of Job Skills Summit, that 180,000 free places. Now that it is going to offer to the Australian citizens, domestic students for vocational education, just to increase the actual skill set that the domestic Australian will actually be equipped with. So that's a very welcoming news. Now the next one is similar, coming from Guardian. Australian raises permanent migration cap to 195,000 to ease work shortages, and I believe that the coming year after this, it's going to be 2023 and 24. It's going to be more than 200,000 for sure. And let's continue to see the news is similar, which has been talked about for the past 2 weeks or probably a month already. And the opposition leader, Peter Dutton, actually agree the number needs to be higher. Well, I was stunned. I think he's basically, if he agrees, that means he admitted the wrong decision that he had made during the time he was the Minister of Home Affairs and also leading the country as well. Now, the Treasurer Jim Chalmers described the new migration cap as a cautious and responsible level of migration for permanent places. So it's actually very good, very, very good. The state territories and Premier, we're building a big lift under state and territorial allocation from 11,000 last year to 31,000. So we are expecting a lot more 190 and 491 to be issued, and which is going to be very good. But there's still no talk about the employment sponsorship here. But I'm going to lead you to that news soon. Business welcome migration cap increase, which Australian Chamber of Commerce increase. Chief Executive Andrew McKellar described a significant step forward and very good decision. And also, but he rejects the union's call for the medium full-time wage to be going up to 90,000, because that's going to hit a lot of small business owners by paying that sort of wage. But I don't know. It's good for the employees, but probably not for the business owners. Let's go on to the next one. Is the actual transcript that the Minister of Home Affairs had on her minister's website. So basically what we are looking at here is basically they're talking about the multicultural. They need more people, and obviously this topic has been cooking since the Labour has won the elections on the back on the late May 2022. So, and talking about the COVID and things, if you have followed my channel long enough, I probably got sick of hearing all this. Where is the fix? Where is the policy? But today, I think the main thing is, at least we have given the government of Australia the time. They have actually gone through a major milestone. Bear in mind, in a legislative, a lawful country like Australia, if a former government has already set a target for 160,000 per annum, and to change that law, it's actually very, very hard. So I think what Labour government has actually done a very good job, very, very good job, to actually turn things around by inviting 140 representatives nationwide and agree on the consensus to increase the migration cap. This is actually a very tough job, very tough. If you're in the legal system, you probably will understand what I'm trying to say. So giving them a time, I think it has been done greatly. Now the transcript, the main thing here I wanted to mention is that down here that they are giving out 34,000 places in region this year, so 90,000 more for the regional visas, but there is no specific token about regional on what is a 494 or what other type of visa it is. And also there is an increase of the lift that we have actually saw on the previous news article, that the state and territory sponsored visa, that's 190 and 491, from 11,000 to 31,000. So that's 20,000 more. That is actually very, very good. Now obviously there's some leftovers, and where are they? I think they're going to be increased from what has been cut out on the business innovation and investment visa, and also the global talent visa, which has been cut out I think more by about half of the quota by the former government, and that will be added back as well, because we see those numbers adding up, doesn't go up to about 30,000 plus. So I think everything will go back to normal, and hopefully by clearing the backlog, they will be the whole visa system and process will go back to the norm. Now the next thing I wanted to show you is that obviously in my video the day before, obviously there has been a news talking about relaxation on employment sponsorship, and yesterday there's actually a news came out basically talking about this. So the topic says Australia needs more skilled migrants, and if we go down here, it's basically talking about on the state sponsorship, which we have actually just learned that they are giving more quota for the state and territory to sponsor. Now, but there are still successful applicant will get that 190 and 491. But how many places are there? Department of Home Affairs has made almost 50,000 state nomination available this year, and that's going into a lot of state like in New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia, Queensland, and things. I think they're going to be given more. So as you have saw the news previously that we just talked about, some of the state, for example, Queensland, perhaps they will come out with more relaxation and criteria. And that's probably why New South Wales hasn't really announced on their occupation list yet. They probably will do some changes because they have actually included an additional quota for state nomination there. And if we move on this one, basically talks more about other states and territories, and can you apply from overseas. I think all of this has actually been served and done. And Queensland, here we go, 114 occupation 2020 and 23. This news is basically talking about the places that every state would have or will increase. But also at the top here, I believe, before we moving into the state sponsorship, there's also has been an ease a certain criteria condition to compete with the best, to attract the best skilled migrants. I think that's again another thing that's being talked about. And down here says workers sponsored by a state authority will have to try the particular employer, but they do have to age under 45. So I think there's going to be a lot more policies to be announced and come out right after this announcement, because what we have just seen is the job on the Job and Skills Summit 2022, basically just to increase the quota, fix the backlog, and getting more numbers to the state and territory nomination, and also obviously the subclass 189 for the independent skill migration. But there hasn't really been talking about the employment sponsorship, because employment sponsorship does feel a major quota, a major areas of the skill migration as well. How that can be fixed, I think that will be the next target coming up as well, because there has been a trend and the topic talking about this just right before Job and Skill Summit. So I believe that will be the next key thing coming up. Anyway, should you have more question and query, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.